Hi, this is the Fort Richmond Collegiate orientation for the wonderful Healthy Living Center that we have here at Fort Richmond Collegiate. The first thing I'm going to show you is that there is a sign that will be situated on this door, right here. It's either going to say, "Come on in, the weight room's open," or it's going to say, "The class is currently in session, you're not allowed." So just simply follow whatever the sign says. If it's open, you can come on in. Alright? I did not change my shirt just now. What you're going to notice is that once you do finish your orientation, you're going to get on your student card a little magical hole punched in it. You have to have this hole punched in your card so you can have access into the weight room. Okay? As you come in, you're going to see a little shelf or a bin. Honestly, wherever you put your card is not a huge deal, just as long as you do have your card either on the shelf or in here. And also, out of good practice, you should be telling the supervisor that, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, I'm just putting my card here, coming to work out." And they're going to let you know if it's okay or not. Simple as that. Next thing we're going to look at is the Healthy Living Center facility rules. These are rules that we do follow quite strictly, and we do like to make sure that everyone does follow the rules. Quite simply, if you don't follow the rules, you're going to notice that these cards get little corners snipped. Once all corners are snipped, you're not allowed back in the weight room ever again for eternity. Number one, all users must participate in an orientation session prior to the use of the facility. That is what you're all doing right now. By watching this video, it is basically like being here with me in my company and going through the orientation. So that's taken care of. Number two, food, gum, and beverages are not allowed. Water only. So Gatorade, coffee, Slurpees, things of that sort. People, I think I've seen a sandwich in here at one time. Don't bring food, don't bring Gatorades or sugary stuff. Just water from the fountain or from one of your bottles, that's fine. But nothing else, please. Outdoor shoes. What we're going to do is slowly back up, and my wonderful camera person, Miss Jones, is going to show us the bins here. When you do have outdoor shoes, they do not go in here. Outdoor shoes do not go in here. Outdoor shoes go out the door. Okay? Nothing in the bins, out there only, please. So when you are in here, you are wearing your nice, clean, indoor shoes. Beautiful. Okay? No bare feet, no sandals, no outdoor shoes. Quite simply, if you do have outdoor shoes on, we're just going to ask you to hit the road. Okay? You must be changed in proper workout attire. Pretty straightforward. You have to have a change of clothes of what you're not wearing outside. So I don't want to see any button-up shirts or jeans or anything of that sort. It has to be a change of clothes that you would wear for a phys ed class. Closed-toed shoes are mandatory. Like I said, no sandals, flip-flops, no high heels, please. No entry permitted without a trained supervisor present. If you ever see this place vacant like it is right now and there's no supervisor in here, no one, turn around and ask one of the phys ed people or ask someone else who does do the supervising in here. You can't just come in here and work out on your own time. You must have someone in here. If there's not, don't just pretend that you can just come in and work out. You have to have someone in here. Use equipment for intended use, do not modify. Next session, we're going to go through everything in here. I'm going to show you how to use everything, and if the way I show you to use it, please do so accordingly. If we don't see you using it properly and you're goofing around, we'll obviously just ask you to hit the road. Do not drop weights or dumbbells. Not only is it extremely loud and annoying, it leaves huge marks on the floor. All of our dumbbells are rubber, and if you drop them on the floor, they make big marks. So basically, if you can't put the weights down gently, it's too heavy for you and you shouldn't even be using them. No horseplay, loud offensive language. You're in school. It's quite straightforward. Just don't talk like a sailor. You're in here to work out. Use it accordingly. Don't mess around. It's pretty simple. If you're horsing around, we just ask you to leave. No one really gets angry at you. We just tell you we don't want you in here. Don't climb or swing from the TRX training system. That's this big rope system up here that we can possibly show you on the camera. Maybe. Yes, we can. Those things there, they're not swing ropes. Those are for body suspension exercises. I'll show you how to use that later, but for the most part, do not swing on that or you will be asked to leave. Facility supervisor controls the music. This is one thing that probably I get asked the most about, and wonderful students always ask to put their music on using their own phone. Unfortunately, you cannot do that. It is the phys ed teachers control the music, or whoever is supervising it. They control the music. That goes with volume, anything. They put their device on, and that's it. It is never touched beyond that. Only the supervisor can control this. So don't even bother asking. Just come in. If you don't like the music, put headphones on. Simple as that. When in doubt, seek proper instruction. If you don't know how to use something, just simply ask someone. I would say 95% of the time, there will be a phys ed person inside that office. Just go ahead and ask if you want help for something. Not an issue. Safe, respectful, on-task help, and encourage each other. Yeah, do what that says. Be safe and respectful. Love everyone. Peace and happiness. Report accidents, injuries, and equipment. That's just simply, obviously, if you're hurt, we want to try and help you. And if there is something wrong with the equipment, let us know. Even if you did accidentally break something or something feels loose, just come tell us. Otherwise, it can get actually worse as it gets used more, or someone else can get hurt, and we don't want that. Failure to adhere to these rules may result in immediate removal. Just straightforward. It's pretty simple stuff. We don't ask you to come in here and go through military training. It's pretty straightforward. We just ask you to really take care of everything in here because we want it to last a long time. Okay, we're going to go through and learn how to do all the machines now. Okay, I'm just going to go through more details with this one machine just to show you what everything kind of looks like, and then as we progress down all the other machines, I'll just go through how the actual technique goes with the machines. First thing I want to bring to your attention on this one is the little face plate up here. If you ever do forget what machine is that the exercise that's working, or what the exercise is actually called, everything is typically up here. So it will tell you what the leg curl is right here, and it also tells you what muscle groups is being worked. On the little body here, guy or girl, we don't know what it is, there is a muscle that is highlighted, and you'll see that it's kind of lighter blue right here, and that's just kind of pointing to say, hey, this is my hamstring that's being worked, and that's where my hamstring is. Cool. It also kind of gives you just a quick little instruction here, and if you are feeling tech savvy, down here there's a little bit of a barcode, and you can just, what's this called again?
QR code.
QR code, right. So you can, thanks camera person. This little QR code, you can scan it, and it'll actually bring up a little bit of a video, and it'll just walk you through the entire exercise to show you how it's done. So I would always suggest to do that, because it's, I would say you look, sometimes people are afraid of looking weird on a machine because they're using it wrong. Just look at this, and then you'll know that you're using it right, and you don't have to worry about being self-conscious. Next thing on here is that everything that's yellow is movable. So the first thing I'll show you obviously is the pin system. It goes into one of the plates here where you select your weight. Just make sure that it does go all the way into the weight stack. Additionally, you'll see a couple other yellow tabs on here. There's a tab here that's yellow, so obviously we mean that we can adjust this. Also back behind me, there's a yellow tab where I can lift up and adjust the back of my seat. So typically any single one of these machines will have a yellow tab that moves, and that's how I know that it's actually something that can be adjusted. One thing I do want to show you at this machine, which is the same at another machine, is that there is a pivot point here. That just means that the pivot point of my body, which is my knees, I want this to be lined up at this pivot point. If it is overhanging, it puts a lot of stress on the knee joint, and we don't want that because it's going to put some damage on our knees and make them a little bit sore. So always make sure that we do have our knees lined up at this pivot point. Next thing we're going to look at is up here. There is a yellow adjustment, so we know that it does move. So I put my feet up first, pull the yellow adjustment out, comes down. I can pat it into place so it's nice and tight. I know that the back's already adjusted properly because I lined my knees up. My knees are attached to everything else, so I know that everything else is good. If I did want to adjust this, that's just with the back pulley system here. Pull up. I can either move forwards or backwards. After that, I already have my weight selected from before. I can grab onto the handles here. And one thing you're going to kind of notice is that if you have used these type of machines before, these universal machines, you will notice that they are typically moving on a single plane. These ones are kind of different, and the actual whole machine does move, so don't freak out and think it's broken, because the actual entire thing is going to move right now when I pull my legs down. So when I hold on here and I curl my legs, you can see the actual seat itself is shifting. And what this does, it helps put the proper focus on the muscle through the entire range of motion, which is a really nice thing to have with these machines. So I'll do my reps, pretend I just did 50 of them, I stop, take my legs out of here, and I can step out, and that's it. One thing I do want to, don't shoot the camera. One thing I do want to show you though right now is that at the end of every single time I do use the machine, please spray either the seat, spray the towel, whatever you suggest, and wipe off the seats. Any part that your body touched should be wiped off. Do not stand back here and wipe down the whole thing like it's your car. Just stand nice and close and just wipe it off, each pad, that's it. Nothing else has to be wiped off. And then return this back to the spot. Okay, onward. Okay, this one here is the chest press, and obviously it's working our chest muscles, our pec muscles. Again, just like the similar to other stack, it's choosing the weight with the pin, and the one adjustment that's a little bit different on this one is there's a seat adjustment. So yellow tab means I can't adjust it. Any sort of seat adjustment, I can actually just pull it if I want to make it go higher. So if I want to go higher, I can just pull it up. But now if I want that seat to go down, I do actually have to pull the pin and lower the seat down. So myself, I know that I'm a 3. It's on 3 right now. So I can go ahead and have a seat. There's an assist bar here. Sometimes I'll see people that aren't too sure what to do with the foot thing up here. And what this is for is that right now for myself, I don't have very flexible shoulders. It is really uncomfortable for me to grab these bars. So if I use the assist bar, I can push with my legs and it brings this up closer, so it's much easier for me to grab. So once I grab it, I take my feet off of that assist bar and I can actually go through my reps now. One thing people are not too sure about is how high do I put the seat? Your head should basically be at the middle of this headrest here. So if you're too high or too low accordingly, you'll know whereabouts you should be. So for me, top of my head's right at the very top here, so I know that's a good height for me. Okay, this exercise is called the mid-row. It is working my back, the middle of my back area, more so the rhomboid area. There's no yellow adjustments on this bench except for the one to select my weight. So once I do that, there's nothing else I have to adjust. I can just sit down and use it. There's a little sticker in the front here that says my starting position and where I should be at the end of the exercise. So for me, the starting position is right here, and as I pull up, the exercise is right here. One thing I do see people quite often on this machine doing is a full body swing forward. We don't want to do that. Once the weight's back up here, my core is nice and tight, I'm sitting up nice and tall, and all it is I'm pulling my arms into my body. I'm not going back this way, nothing, my upper body is moving, just my arms are pulling it. And once you're done, make sure you put the weights down nice and gently, and that's it. Oh hey, this next one's called the leg press. It works my legs. I know, amazing, right? Adjustments on this one, again, it's going to be the weight stack. Also what my camera person is showing you is the adjustable slide up here. What this adjustment does is it pulls the actual whole seat forward or backwards. And that's just going to be dependent on how long my legs are. So what you want to be starting at is a nice 90-degree angle. So you don't want to have your knees up to your ears and you don't want to kind of have your legs straight. You want to be at a place that's just beyond your range of motion. That way you're going to know that you're actually using the weight through the full range of motion. So once my weight's selected, I've adjusted my height to the foot pad. That's pretty close for me. I can hold on here and I push forward. And again, the seat kind of pushes backwards. I don't want to lock my knees out. I should always have just a slight little bend in my knee with this one. Come down just before the weight touches. Myself personally, I like to actually watch the weight stack while I'm doing this because I know as soon as that weight stack just about touches, that's going to be my full range of motion. I know that I'm going low enough to get the whole exercise. Once I'm done, slowly lower down, and that is it. This next machine is either for my back or for my chest. The top part here is anything to do with a chin-up type exercise. And as you can see, it's sometimes overwhelming because there actually is so much to choose up here, so people get a little confused on how to operate all these. There's simply a wide grip, inside wide grip, a really close inside, and these ones also adjust to go under grip, and there's a rock climbing grip. So all of these are all adjustable. I want to show you this part, I guess, first. This is different because when I select the weight on this machine, it's opposite of what the other ones are. Typically when I put a weight on, that's the weight that I'm actually lifting my body. This one here is an assist. So what actually happens is the weight that I select, so say if I select 180 pounds, say if I weigh 190 pounds, I'm actually only lifting 10 pounds because 180 pounds is assisting me. And that's what this thing does down here. So like I said, there's the chin-up portion, there's also a dip portion. This is for my triceps and chest muscles. Best way to do this, I try and suggest for people to put one foot to lower the weight stack. Select what grip you're going to be using. Say if I want to do my dips. Oh, these also adjust too. Yellow tabs, you know they adjust, either wide or narrow. So I'm going to have them both on the wide. Grab here. My one foot has already lowered the stack. Grab my grip on, then I can step on. Once I'm nice and comfortable and confident, I'm not too shaky, I can go down and do my rep, and then push myself back up. And once we're done, step off and slowly lower the weight. This is the one machine that most typically people kind of drop the weights too quick and it slams down. So slowly lower it. And I just want to show you the same thing up here. If I want to do the rock climbing grip, one foot, lower the weight stack. I already have my grip selected. Second foot can go on. I can lower myself down, do my exercise, and then once I'm done, one foot off, and then slowly lower the weight stack. All right. This machine here is the back extension machine. You'll also see some people do some ab exercises on here as well. I'll just show you how to do it as a back extension because that is what the bench is actually called. There are two adjustments on this one. There's one for the lengthening of it, so the more taller the person is going to want to adjust this one, and I guess a shorter person is going to want to have it shorter. So for me, I know that I want this just below my hips. So right now if I step on, I can see that that is way below my hips. Just like the other benches, I can actually just pull this up if I want to go longer. So for me, one more click should do it, or two apparently. And right there, that's a perfect spot. So people aren't too sure what to do with their hands sometimes. I've seen some interesting technique on here. So simply put your hands cross here in your shoulders. That way you're not reefing on your head and cranking your neck around. Have your hands up here, come all the way down, and then all the way up to your flat again. Don't hyperflex all the way back. Just stop so you're nice and straight, and then back down. You will see people sometimes adding resistance. That's why there are some things down here for some plates. You can grab a plate, hold it in front of your chest, like this, and it's just the same idea, just adding a bit more resistance. One thing you could also adjust on this is the angle. So underneath here, I can adjust the type of angle I want to work at. Sharper angle, lower angle, simple as that. This rack here is for our barbells. You'll talk in a second here about the dumbbells. These are barbells, just quite simply they're on a bar. This rack, you can see right now there's one kind of thing that's wrong on here, and that's okay, I can show it for the video, is that we want the heavier weights on the bottom, just being it keeps this rack nice and sturdy. And it's easier, if someone wants to use an 80-pound weight, it's just kind of hard to pull off the rack when it's this high. It's a lot easier to use my legs when it's nice and low. So make sure you have the heavier weights near the bottom. This bench or machine here, I guess, is very similar to the assist machine that I showed you earlier. Just now there's no weight assist. So if you're going to use this one, obviously you have to be able to lift your own body weight. There's the chin-up again, so you can select the wider grip or the rock climbing grip, or there's the dips down here where you can select the dips. For this one here, there is a little step on the inside. You can step up, select which way you want to go, you can do your rep, then when you're done, step off, and you're good to go. Also on this one, there's a captain's chair. Captain's chair is for my abdominal muscles. So I'm up on the steps again. There's also some grip tape here. You'll see some sparkly tape. It's very grippy, so don't be afraid to step up here if you need a little extra boost. So my feet do not slip off that stuff. Once I'm up here, hold on to the handles, and how this works is I just simply lift my knees up, and that's going to work my ab muscles. You can go straight legged or whatever you suggest. It's hard to talk and do that. This whole area here is called the functional training area. There's 1,000 exercises that we could go through and show you, but I just want to basically show you how to use the actual machine itself. There are yellow tabs right here. You pull that tab out, use the handle, otherwise it's going to go flying down on me, and I can use the handle to lower or raise this. Everything's numbered off if I want to try and do things on both sides so I can be symmetrical. There's a carabiner clip. I can select which grip I want to use. Some people will do tricep ropes. You can do bicep curls, squats. You can do, like I said, 1,000 things on this. So the carabiner just clips in, and then just down here, you'll see my yellow tab. I know that I can do my weight adjustment, and I can go through my set that way. That's it. This is the lat pull down, and also works my back muscles. You'll see there's a yellow tab on the inside here. This yellow tab adjusts the leg rest up here. I should not be able to fit anything under this leg rest. So it does feel like it's tight, it should be. I want it to be nice and snug, because you'll see what's going to happen. I have to pull weights from above me. I don't want to get lifted out of the chair, so I want to be on here nice and tight. I can select my weight, whatever I want to use, and then for me, this is perfect because I can reach these bottom ones. There's a little sticker under here again that says if you're over 6 feet tall, you should be using the upper handles. I'm not over 6 feet tall, I can't even reach the upper handles. So I know that I am 6 feet, I can grab the lower ones just beautifully. If you cannot reach these, even if you're under 6 feet, and if you have little arms, it's not an issue. Just stand up, grab your handles first, and then as you sit down, the weights kind of lift up already for you, and then you can go through your rep that way. With this one here, it pretty much puts you in the right technique. You don't have to worry about being in the wrong body shape. Quite often people will sit too straight up and pull straight down, but this kind of pushes you back just nicely, and yeah, very easy to use. This one is the leg extension. It's going to work my quadricep muscles. Similar to the one at the very start, I talked about that pivot point. This is the other one that has that pivot point. So for myself personally, my knees are just a little beyond that pivot point. So I'm going to use this rear adjustment to pull the seat back a little bit. I'm going to slide my butt back a little bit. Now my knees are perfectly lined up to this pivot point. I'm good to go. That's the only other adjustment besides my weight. So once my weight is selected, I can grab these handles here. The only thing these handles are for is just so your body can stay nice and tight to the seat and you're not going to lift yourself up. So hold on nice and tight. Legs go forward. And that is it. This is the shoulder press. Obviously working my shoulders. There's a seat adjustment on this one. So for me, I'm a little high right now. So if I pull this out, put it down a bit, top of my head's just inside the top of that seat, so I know it's good now. Once my weight's selected, I grab the handles here. Make sure my head's back on this one. I will see people sometimes having their head up, pushing up this way. So have your head back. Hold on to the handles. I push up. Again, through the full range of motion. I will see people kind of stop halfway and just do something like that. You can always tell if you're going through the full range of motion if you watch that weight stack. Just before the weight stack touches, I know that's my deepest point, and then obviously the farthest my arms go, I know that's the farthest point. That's it. This one is the bicep curl, works the bicep muscles, strangely enough. Adjustment on this one, I think is only the weights. That's it. So once you have your weight selected, there is no adjustment for the seat, just because it doesn't really matter, because these cables are going to adjust for as long as your arms are. So once I have those selected, have my head back again against the armrest, and just a simple arm curl, and that's it. This machine is the Pec Fly, and it works my pecs. But often these machines aren't very sneaky and trying to trick you with the names of them. Pec Fly works my pecs, Bicep Curl works my biceps. So if you're ever not too sure, as long as you know one or the other, you can probably figure out what it's working. This one has a few adjustments. First, I'll do the seat. Top of my head's a little bit high on this one. I'll put it down. Beautiful. Also, I mentioned my unflexible arms. For me to grab these is very uncomfortable and not so fun. So what this one has is a couple pull pins on either side. So I can pull this up and this whole arm piece swings forward. Now if you look, I can grab that without taking my arm out of the socket, which is a definite bonus. Once I select the weight, I have both these in a comfortable position now for me. My head's against the headrest. Come together. Don't smack the hand pieces together. Just come together nice and controlled. And back. And then that is it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 benches like this here in the facility. And I want to show you how to adjust these as well. These are 3 different levels of benches you can put these to. This is obviously the flat bench adjustment. If I want to put it in an incline, I can just pull this piece up, and this is going to lock into different parts. I can put this all the way up to a 90-degree angle, which is beautiful. And then also with this, so when I back down, I lift this piece up with the yellow handle. The seat is also adjustable. So if I want to do like an incline bench press, put that up, I can grab this seat adjustment and put it up this way. Also, I mentioned it can go 3 different ways. There's a little tab here. This pushes this little piece out of the way and it goes down into a decline. So I can do any sort of decline exercise. You will see one other yellow tab up here. This is just for the foot piece. If I wanted to, we have other attachments that you can put into this foot piece. I don't really suggest that you adjust this piece. Sometimes people think it makes a big difference. Honestly, this foot piece goes up 1 inch, so it's not that really big of a deal. So if you can just not touch this part of it, that would be fantastic. Hi. This is the squat rack, weight rack, lifting rack. There's cages, people call them. There's a couple different names for them, but there's just again, 1,000 things you could do in here. I'm just going to show you basically how to adjust the bars and the rack, just so you know how to do it. First of all, you probably will see a bench on here with the bar. Just simply lift the bar off. And what's the best way to show you this? These things just slide up and they pop out. So there's a little bit of a knobby on the end here. It just goes in and they turn in. Make sure that, if you look at it this way, there is a flat piece here. Make sure that this flat piece is on the inside of the cage. Reason being, if I had this the other way, and pretend obviously the bar is out there, which it never would be, but I can bump this. And if I bump this from the inside, which does quite often happen, this could actually fall off, and we don't want that to happen, because then you're sitting there holding your weight and you're crying for help. Mr. P. So make sure it is on the inside here, because now I can bump it all I want. It's not going to fall off, and everything is safe and happy. Same thing goes with the bottom racks here. Right now, this is situated for a bench press. Bench press is the one with the flat bench here. Works for chest muscles, just in case you didn't know that. These racks here acts as my spotter. So for myself personally, when I come down with this bar, if I couldn't lift this up anymore, what do? Nothing. I either yell for help again, or if I had these safety racks higher, I could just rest this on the safety rack and not get squished. So I want to make sure that these safety racks are just a bit lower than my lowest point of range of motion. So I know for me, that's about right. Whoops. These are super frustrating, and you're going to find that. And even after doing this a million times, it still takes me some time to do it. Make sure that they are put in evenly. By evenly, I mean sometimes it'll be in 8 on this side and 7 on this side, and it'll be all wonky. It won't feel right. It'll be really tight and hard to put in there. You'll know it's wrong. And same thing on this side. Make sure that they're actually level this way. You're not putting your weight down and it's all lopsided. So now when I put this weight down, here's my lowest point for my actual repetition. If I needed to, I can put this down and I'm not going to get squished now. So I feel safe in here. I can lift whatever weight I want. It is always good to have a spotter still behind you, but just for added security, added safety, use these properly as well. It will make it a little bit more enjoyable. These are dumbbells. You lift them. That's about it. Just kidding. There are quite a few dumbbells here. I like things neat, and as you can see right now, I'm even beginning to do this, and I'm making them nice and even and having them face up. It is just nice gym practice to have the numbers facing up. Reason being, when I come over and other people are always in here, I don't want to have to spend time sitting here and being, oh, I wonder where the 8 pounds are. I can just come in, see 8, grab them, and I can take it off. So it is nice when you put them back, just kind of make sure that the labels are facing up. Also make sure you put the pairs back. Don't just come back and slap one over here, one here, and then run away. Make sure that they are put in the same location. These are rubber. The floor is rubber. Rubber versus rubber will make a mark all the time. Right now we just got the floor clean, so you can't really see it too much. But if I'm going to do this right now. If I take this and drag on the floor, you can see that it does make marks. And I barely touch this. So you can imagine if I took a 40-pound dumbbell and just dropped on the floor, it makes big, gross marks, and it makes this whole place just look dirty and kind of trashy. So when you're putting these on the floor, it's easy. Just put them down nicely. They're not going to make a mark like this. They make mark when people are lifting too much weight that they should be, and they just drop the weight when they're done, just to make themselves look like they're lifting heavy weights. But we don't want to do that. Just
like
put them
you
down
do
nicely.
sometimes.
I don't do that. I always say that if you can't properly get up off the bench with your weights like this, it's too heavy for you. You shouldn't have to be down here and dropping it. 2 reasons. It's loud. Sorry, 3 reasons. It's loud, it makes marks, and you're going to hurt yourself if you just go like this with your shoulders. So don't do it, or else. These 2 bikes, there's an upright bike and there is a recumbent bike. The screens work the exact same way. The adjustment's the exact same. Little yellow buttons here that adjust the level. I just want to show you how to adjust the seats. There's a little tab underneath here that just simply raises or lowers. I know, it's very complicated. This one over here, same idea. There's a tab here that will bring the seat closer or more back. And then there's a tab kind of like a car seat underneath it that you pull up. And you can pull this forward or backwards. And the level adjustment is on the handle here. Also, you can adjust the level on the screens on both these guys. This is a rowing machine. They should be stored like this. So if you ever see it like this, which again it should be, people aren't too sure how to take it down sometimes. It's not scary at all. Just pull on the upper arm here, and you'll see it pivots on the wheels, and it's just going to come down. And just make sure, obviously, you help it down. The screen is typically folded in. And if my camera person comes on over here, I'll just simply show you how to squeeze your feet into the foot straps. These are buckles that you would see on a backpack or anything that's adjustable straps. Your toes should be just under this little line right here, which mine is. It's perfect. I was probably the last person to use this. Tighten it in very tightly, and you're not going to see anything on the screen until you start rowing. So sometimes people will say, oh, it's not working. You need to actually start rowing, and it'll come up on its own. When you're done, place the handle back in the rack, loosen your clips and pull your feet out. And if you are done, wipe the seat off and put it back up and wheel it back over to against the wall. This is the TRX body suspension system. We do have 2 of them in here. There's 12 in the other side in the MPR. I'm not going to go through and show you how to use it because there's a million different things that you can do with this, and you'll learn how to do that in your present class. I just want to basically show you that this is the TRX, so if you ever hear us talking about TRX, this is what it is. Do not swing from this. It'll be immediate removal, and when you are done, that's what these hooks up here are for. So when you're finished up, hook it up so it's out of the way, and that is it. Next, we got our Jacob's ladder. There is a strap that's usually laying on the floor. Sometimes people will snap it around here. Either which way, grab it. You'll see a little piece of measuring tape. You probably can't see the numbers on here, but it's just a bunch of different heights. All the way from about 5 feet up to 6'7". I'm going to find a height. I'll put it around 5'11" for myself. And there are instructions on here if you're ever not too sure. It says set the strap height, fasten the waist belt, which I'm going to do right away, and then start climbing. Okay? It also says right hip. So I know that this little patch here is going to go on my right hip. So when I buckle this up, if I can get it, right again, right hip, right there. That patch is on my right hip. The buckle is right at the front, so that's typically where it should look like it should be. So this is the brake. If I try and move these rungs right now, nothing happens. Once I start to climb, this little cord that's attached to the belt gradually releases, and then I can start to actually use the ladder. So as I start to walk up, if you kind of feel unsure about yourself here, you can hold on to the side rails just to get yourself going. But the actual machine is to be used with hands and feet. So you can see I'm doing 1 step at a time. I shouldn't be skipping ladder rungs. That's a good way to fall on your face. So 1 rung at a time. It gives you the readout all up here of your time, how many ladders you've actually walked over. Once you're done, stop. Goes down to the bottom. The brake re-engages, then it's safe to get off and unbuckle and you're good to go. This is known as the arc trainer. How the arc trainers typically work is you just, pretty self-explanatory, step on 2 feet. You do see that there are 2 paddles here. Please always make sure you have 2 feet on both paddles. There is a quick start button, big green one. I click quick start, I hear that beep. I know that it starts up. I can put my hands on the side here and begin my workout. If I do want to increase the intensity, on this side, there is a resistance button. Sorry, this side is the incline button. Goes up to 20. This just means that my legs do go through a higher range of motion. This side here would be the resistance. This just makes it harder to actually paddle the pedals here. Once I am finished, I push the giant red stop button. You'll hear the motor go back down. That just means that it's lowering the incline. So don't be frightened, and you can step up. Okay, now we're going to look at our treadmills in the facility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 treadmills, 9 treadmills, all the same. We can start again. I thought we had 10.
It's okay, just go again. I'll just do it again.
Okay, now we're going to look at the treadmills in the facility. All the treadmills operate all the same, so just treat them the same when you're going to use them. As you step on, you can see that I am standing on the side rails. Okay, that's where we should be starting all the time. There is an emergency stop clip right here. Attach that to somewhere on your shirt or on the side of your shorts. Okay? This is just our emergency stop. If this ever pulls out, the treadmill automatically stops. Very important to have this clip on all the time when you're on these things. If you look at the screen up here, really easy to see. There's a big green button here that says quick start. I'm going to hit that. It's going to count down 3, 2, 1. It's going to start moving. This is why I'm standing on the rails as well. It's actually easier for the motor to start up with no one standing on top of it. Now that it's moving, I can slowly step on and I can walk. If I want to speed up, there are 2 paddles here. I push up on the paddle, you can see the number increases. Okay, there's a little picture of a person that's kind of running here. Or I can increase the incline on this side of the paddle. Again, you'll hear kind of a motor rumble. That just means that that incline is actually lifting up here. When I'm done, very important, do not just pull out on the emergency stop. There's a giant red button that says stop in front of you. Push that, it stops pretty quickly. Step back on the rails, undo my clip. There's a little piece of rubber that sticks out here. This is where the clip goes. Okay?